Welcome back, everyone. If you love dissecting complex stories and grappling with real-world dilemmas, well, you are in the exact right place. Today's explainer covers a truly fascinating piece of modern fiction. Okay, let's dive into this. I want to drop you straight into a freezing January night at a New York City Hall rally. The wind is biting, thousands of people are packed into the square under harsh floodlights, and the tension in the air, it's absolutely electric. That question right there is the central premise of our explainer today. We're looking at Chapter 1 of The Empty Chair, which is this brilliant modern reimagining of Fyodor Dostoevsky's classic, The Brothers Karamazov. But instead of 19th century Russia, we are in New York in the year 2026. This is a story about the collision of mass surveillance, deep family trauma, and a deeply flawed quest for absolute safety. As you'll see, we're going to explore what happens when an all-seeing algorithm built by a highly fractured family is forced to make a judgment about its own creators. Section 1, The Girl Above the City. The story opens with this highly cinematic, almost overwhelming scene. Hovering 30 feet above the shivering crowd at City Hall are three massive screens, broadcasting the glowing face of a 12-year-old girl named Maya Brooks. She's smiling, with one hand raised like she was just caught mid-sentence. And behind her image is one of her own drawings, a bright, crooked map of Brooklyn highlighting places where people actually felt safe. It's a powerful, tragic image because Maya is gone, and her death has become the political catalyst for the most invasive surveillance system ever proposed. Up on stage stands Daniel Rosen, the 68-year-old founder of Magen Civic Technologies. He's deliberately not wearing a coat in the winter cold, just projecting this unbreakable authority. He walks the crowd through Maya's tragedy, listing out 5 distinct institutional failures. Her life generated 27 school absences, 2 separate emergency room visits, 3 housing complaints, a child services inquiry that was inexplicably closed, and police reports of screams from her apartment. So the crucial point is this. Daniel tells the crowd that the city didn't lack compassion. No, it lacked connection. All these warnings were just trapped in separate, disconnected silos. And this brilliantly illustrates the technological promise Daniel is selling. Standing right beneath Maya's giant face, Daniel claims his new system, called Shomer, a massive citywide predictive safety platform, would have seen all of those separate, fragmented warnings and connected them. And it wouldn't have taken weeks or months. He says it would have taken exactly 11 seconds. He tells the crowd the city council is voting the very next day on whether to adopt Shomer, effectively asking if New York is finally ready to cure its institutional blindness. Section 2, The Ideological Clash, Privacy versus Safety. Now, of course, a tool this powerful doesn't just get a free pass. While Daniel speaks, there's a fierce ideological debate playing out right there in the crowd, directly beneath the floodlights. And it perfectly captures a terrifying modern dilemma, one where we really have to look impartially at both sides. On the left, we have Daniel's intensely utilitarian argument. He argues that privacy cannot become the privilege of those whose emergencies were noticed in time. To him, preserving institutional blindness just to protect the dignity of data costs actual human lives. But then, on the right, we see the very real ethical terror of the protesters. They're holding signs like, "A risk score is not a child," and "Who watches Shomer?" They're asking absolutely vital questions about unchecked surveillance, predictive policing, and the ethics of turning human complexity into mathematical threat scores. Section 3, A Fractured Family. To truly grasp the tension in this story, you have to understand the people who built this technology. Because Shomer isn't just code, it's practically the physical manifestation of the Rosen family's psychology. And this family is deeply, dangerously divided. Let's rapidly break down the 4 siblings present at the rally. First, there's Micah, the respected technology ethicist. He actually distrusts the system, yet his father slapped his name on the program as the ethical architect purely for moral cover. Then there's Aaron, the eldest. He handles company's security, but he's boiling with years of rage and exclusion. He even shows up to the rally drunk and angry. We also have Leah, the advocate who works directly with harmed families, who believes deeply in human connection and dignity over data. And finally, lurking in the shadows, there is Eli. Eli is Magen's lead systems architect, and crucially, he's Daniel's unacknowledged son. Daniel paid for his education and trusts him with the system's core wires, but has never given Eli his name or a public place in the family. We see this deep-seated bitterness explode quietly near the technical booth after the speech. Micah runs into Eli, and he's complaining that their father used his name on stage to sell a system he fundamentally disagrees with. But Eli, staring out at the screens monitoring the entire city, responds with this incredibly heavy line. He named you again. Some of us don't even get that. Right? Eli has all the literal power behind the glass, but absolutely zero recognition. It's a massive wound, festering right at the heart of the machine. Section 4. The Empty Chair. As the rally ends and the political theater winds down, the story pivots brilliantly away from the cold, predictive efficiency of the technology, straight back to the messy, enduring, unquantifiable reality of human grief. Down in the square, as workers are folding up chairs and the crowd scatters to the subways, we focus on Noah Brooks. He's Maya's 10-year-old brother, wearing a little blue knit cap, largely unnoticed by the massive political machinery spinning around his sister's memory. A worker tries to take away the folding chair next to Noah, but Noah pulls it closer to himself. He absolutely insists on keeping that second chair beside him, completely empty. When Leah asks him about it, Noah quietly explains why. He just says, Maya always left one. It is such a quiet, heartbreaking moment, and it serves as the perfect emotional anchor to close out this first chapter. Because while Daniel Rosen is busy building massive algorithms to map human behavior, he entirely misses these small human acts of grace, like a little girl who always made sure there was room for someone who might be left standing. But listen, this poignant moment, it's just the calm before the storm, because it begs a really provocative question. What happens when Shomer turns its predictive power onto the family that built it? Later that very night, Daniel Rosen will be murdered. And Shomer, the system built to see absolutely everything, will review the data, the security footage, the historical family anger, and it's going to point its unblinking eye directly at the Rosen family. If this first chapter has hooked you as much as it hooked me, you have to find out how this modern Karamazov tragedy unfolds, because this is really just the beginning. You can read the rest of this incredible story right now by visiting the link on screen, imaginarytalks.com/The Empty Chair, a Modern Brothers Karamazov story. Go check it out, and I will see you in the next explainer.